Okay.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Guys, what's going on? Thanks for joining me on the webinar Q&A. Going to be an open Q&A. And of course, I want to congratulate you guys on taking action, stepping up, and going for your online certification. You guys should see over to the side, it says questions. And what I'm going to do is basically we're going to do an open Q&A. Training questions, business questions. You could post them in the questions section, and then I'll answer them. Also recording this, and hopefully that goes smooth. It should go smooth, just in case you miss anything. But try to stay on till the end of the call. And like I said, you could post your questions here on the question box, and I'll answer it as best as I can. I'm thinking we're going to go till a little bit before 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm not sure where you guys are from. And hopefully we get all your questions by then. All right, guys. So please go ahead and drop your questions over to the side right there, and then I'll answer. Go ahead. Matt Dale, what's up, buddy? Where are you from, Matt? I'm sorry if I don't remember. I see Matt Dale asking a question there. We've got Matt Dale, Neil Denhardog, Wilmington, North Carolina. Excellent. Cool. North Carolina. I will be in that area in, I'm looking up here on my calendar. I'm there late April. I don't know how far from you, but I'll be at Georgia Tech for a hammer strength clinic. What questions do you have, guys? I see we've got only a few guys here, no problem, but these answers I usually can take forever. So, this is a great question from Matt. And of course, this is the famous question: how did you start building your clientele? This is a great question because I've got two locations, and each location was built quite differently. Let me start with my first gym, guys. I'll kind of give a quick rundown. I've definitely answered some of these questions through many of my blogs and videos, but for those of you that remember, I started training athletes from my parents' home. And the first way I started training them was I was a teacher, and I started basically connecting with athletes that I already knew. Kids that used to go to my school that were now high school wrestlers, a kid in the neighborhood who was a high school basketball player. I started training those two kids. They started letting their friends know. So it was this kind of word of mouth. I didn't know anything about a referral system at all. I just told them to tell their friends. Of course, this is 2002. The things I was doing in 2002 was just, you didn't see that stuff anywhere. It was very unique. It was very, as Seth Godin would call, a purple cow. From that time, out of my parents' home, I was engaged, and my fiance and I purchased a house together. And the first thing I did was paid her uncles to renovate the two-car garage, and it was pretty sweet. I mean, it was sheetrocked, it was painted beautifully. I had a Sorinex power rack in there. I had commercial gym equipment, commercial dumbbell rack, dumbbells, sandbags, kettlebells, pro 45-degree back extension from Elite FTS. I mean, it looked like a mini training studio. So from there, I really leveraged my connections. I knew some parents who had kids that were athletes. I began working with their kids, and I started my website, and I really did all the things that were needed to be done that people tend to put off, such as having a website. I had a newsletter. I was writing for the local newspaper. I was writing for the the USA Wrestling New Jersey newspaper. I was putting myself in multiple medias. Back then, there was no YouTube. I don't even think Google was out at the time. And if it was something unknown. So I was doing all of these things to make sure I got in front of my target market. The most important thing I did, I believe, was I found a list of all the wrestling clubs in New Jersey. I was really trying to niche myself as the wrestling strength and conditioning coach. I called every wrestling club, and I believe there was 27 or 30 of them. Two of them called me back, or one emailed me back, one called me back. I basically offered to do a free strength and conditioning clinic. And when I would do those strength and conditioning clinics, I still do them to this day. In fact, I did it last night. I leveraged my time there. For example, I go there, and the first thing I do is I hand out index cards to the parents, and I say, if you put your first name and email on here, I will raffle something off. And I always test the raffle. So yesterday I raffled off, I don't have my book here on my desk, but I raffled off a copy of my book. At the end, I pick one of the index cards and somebody gets a free book. Now, what do I have? 30 index cards with a bunch of email addresses that now go onto my gym newsletter. So they may not be ready to sign up now, but they're going to sign up very likely in the future. So I'm always building my list. Other times I'll do these clinics and I'll record them. I'll take pictures, and if I record it, they go into my Inner Circle membership site. They go on YouTube, and I leverage it further by using search engine optimization. So I'll use keywords for the town or the city, the state, and the training method that we're using, so it gets picked up from Google. So this is a lot of kind of business knowledge that I've picked up, and I've invested a lot of money in my business. I've been doing these strength conditioning clinics for wrestling teams, football teams, wrestling clubs, baseball teams, you name it. I found this to be the best way to build a strength and conditioning business. This is not the way that I've heard of people building their business if they do boot camps like adult men and women. There's a much bigger battle when training athletes. My partner in the online certification is a close friend of mine, and I told him, hey, a kid I'm training who lives 2 minutes from the gym, great kid, baseball player, his head baseball coach went and opened up his own baseball facility. They're going to do quote unquote strength and conditioning. Do you think those guys are as good as me? Not to be a jerk, but they're not as good as I am. They did yoga plyometrics. So these are the things we're up against. And sometimes you lose guys not to the better thing, but because it's closer, it's cheaper. So there is, when you're doing things as a strength and conditioning coach for athletes, it's much tougher. You're dealing with in season, off season, and all these kind of up and down times. A recent thing that I just did to pick up 5 wrestlers at the new gym was I used Twitter, and I noticed that the wrestling team was following me. I said, hey guys, I'd love to help you out this season. Let me know how. The coach got my cell number from a friend of mine. He texted me and said, hey man, I'd love to bring the team to the gym. I organized that, but I did it very smart. So here's what I did. I said, perfect. You guys could come to the gym. I sent him all the liability forms. What needs to go on a liability form? Mom and dad's name and email. building my newsletter, building my email list. The other thing I did was I put together a flyer, and if any of you guys want to email me, actually, email me, and I'll send you the PDF. You could kind of model it. It had and I learned to do this really from studying a lot of Dan Kennedy stuff. I was a member of his inner circle for a long, long time, so I have tons of his materials, and I studied how to put together a direct response anything. So I created a flyer that had a special offer and a deadline. So they were given a very cheap offer to get in, and they were given a deadline. So we had 5 guys sign up with that. Now they're in at a very tough time. The tough time is during the season when they're the busiest. So it's pretty rare to get kids to sign up at that time, but we have 5 kids to sign up. Now they're in. They're part of the environment. They're part of the family. They're part of the brotherhood. So I do a lot of in-person stuff. I also do a lot of online stuff, but the most powerful stuff has been the in-person stuff. So that has always been the biggest way for me to grow my business. So I hope that helps you out, Matt. Okay, let's get another question, guys. Training or business? You guys can just type in your questions. It's kind of like right under it's called the dashboard. You would type it into the question area. Christian has a question. How long would you recommend somebody spend on a big lift to master it? Wow, such as the squat. What an awesome question. So, guys, this is an amazing question. I have a saying, and it's this: the amateur tries to wow people with all these different, gizmos, fads, gimmicks, crazy exercises. The expert sees and knows the power behind the simplicity and the basics. For example, I've been training since 1989. A couple of weeks ago, probably when we launched the online cert, I guess it was 3 weeks ago, I was down in Pennsylvania and I met up with Marty Gallagher. I don't think this is it actually. His book is right here, guys. The Purposeful Primitive. I met up with Marty and a couple of other guys. One of his proteges, Kirk Kowarski, who is one of the strongest powerlifters ever. And 1989, 2014, I don't know how many years that is. I started working out at age 13 and a half. This Thursday, I turned 39. About 25 and a half years I've been training. We started changing my deadlift technique. How long can it take? What I'm trying to say is it can take a long time. And as your body changes, your body structure, as you get older, as you build more muscle, burn more fat, gain more fat, sometimes your technique needs to change or it has to get better. My recommendation, guys, is to find some pretty legitimate experts in your area and spend time training with them. You just can't replace those things. For example, when I wanted to learn Olympic lifting, weightlifting, I'm friends with Travis Mash, who've been friends for a long time. I had him come out to the gym twice, and I took part in his seminar. We had Chad Smith and Brandon Lilly come out for their squat, bench, deadlift, and I learned from them. So I put myself in the position of being around guys that are, squatting 1,000 pounds and learning from them and just studying. So you're always trying to master it. It's going to take a lot of time, and don't be afraid to do the lift on a regular basis. Squat heavy one day, lighter the next. Go kind of like the high-low method and just keep repeating it to get better and better at it. that, there's no really law that says this is how long it takes. Some people are great and gifted at picking up technique on, sport technique, lifting technique quickly. Others, you're like, oh man, it's going to take a long time. So it's hard to say how long to spend, but prepare to spend a very long time. Some other good books, some of them I leave by my bed, which is not the best, but let me see what books I have here, guys. Uh, I have a huge library. I'm basically surrounded by books here, guys. If you can see how messy my office is, but there's a book. I ordered it from. Oh, what's this one? This is not it. It's a West Side book. I think it's the multi-year weightlifting program. Louis Sims talks about it. They talk about basically the building of a young weightlifter and how many years he spends in each phase, and it's like 4 years of this preparation phase at a young age. Learning things at a younger age is better and easier than when you're older. It's harder to teach the old dog a new trick. So here's the next part of Christian's question. So doing these big lifts, squat, bench, clean, deadlift, is it okay to regularly do them to master them and keep the technique? I'm guessing you do accessory work and change the variation of the lift, but how would you cycle them so you don't overdo it on a lift and or neglect another? Guys, this question is so awesome. I'm going to answer it in two ways. One way, as a lifter, like myself. I don't compete in wrestling, baseball, football. I just lift weights. The other, I'm going to talk about for athletes. As a lifter, you can do these lifts very frequently. You must vary the intensity. What I've learned, last year, I finally benched 315, and then I benched 325. I have it on video. I was never able to bench 315, and I'm going to tell you why. This is what worked for me, and you could test this on yourself. It works different for everybody. I did not spend enough time benching. I would bench, I'd work up to a couple heavy sets, then I would do dumbbell bench, triceps, shoulders, lats, all this stuff. Not enough work. Instead of all that accessory work, Mark Bell said, why don't you use the barbell as your accessory? So I would bench press and I would work up to some heavy sets. Then I would lighten the weight and then I would do speed work for like 5 sets of 3. Then I would do the same weight and do 2 or 3 sets of reps, 10 to 15 reps. I was probably doing about 15 sets of benching per workout. I benched once a week like that, and then I would do a speed workout, 9 sets of 3, 6 sets of 3, kind of West Side-ish, but not totally West Side. I spent more time barbell benching, varying my grips. I stopped doing all the dumbbell benching, and I focused on the bar. Same thing with squatting. How did my squat go up? I used to do squats, build up to my heavy stuff, or do speed work. Then I would do lunges, glute ham, this, that. Nope. Now I would squat, build up to my heavy work. Then I would drop in weight, do 5 sets of 2. Then I would do that same weight for like 2 sets of 10 to 15. So I would do heavy, speed, and rep work in the same workout. I stopped doing all the lunges and all that stuff. That worked for me. My squat went up. Talk to guys like Malinchev. I saw what he's doing, and he's like, dude, I squat, bench, and deadlift. That's it. 11 months out of the year. Okay? For athletes, they will burn out on doing just a squat, just a bench, just a clean. They don't have the mental discipline. They also don't have the mental focus. Young athletes crave variety. They crave change. So you have to kind of trick them and use more of a conjugate system. So I do with our athletes those 2-week mini cycles. So this 2-week cycle right now, our guys are doing Zercher squats, barbell in the biceps. Next 2 weeks, they'll do back squats with a pause in the bottom. 2 weeks after that, box squats. 2 weeks after that, front squats. They're squatting, but they don't keep repeating it. and also for athletes, it helps them avoid overuse injuries. So we switch stuff up for them more often, and I hope that kind of makes sense to you. And that was Christian. Okay, Corey Burks. This question is awesome. His question is, "What's good, Zach?" Excellent question. You know what the right answer to that is? Everything is good. Sometimes I think even myself have a lot of great stuff going on, get super busy, and I complain about it. And should never complain about being too busy. Should be happy for it. Okay. Corey Burke says, how much nutrition advice / suggestions do you provide for your youth athletes and adults? Also, do you recommend supplements? Corey, great question. I'm going to talk about a couple things here. We give a welcome packet when an athlete signs up. Right now it's a PDF. If I was smarter, I would print these out and create a mini booklet. You guys should do it. Create a mini booklet. Welcome them to your gym. Give them success strategies. Give them nutrition guidelines. Pull some good articles, maybe from Rob Wolf or somebody that you trust and believe in, and give credit to them, of course. Put in some testimonials and success stories of your athletes. Maybe even transcribe an interview about how an athlete interviewing him or her parents or his parents about how they gained the muscle, how the food and nutrition changed at home, how often they trained. So you're creating like a book / business card that has success strategies, nutrition guidelines, sample meal plans, body weight workouts to do at home. It will add a big value to your business. Okay, so that's what I do. I give nutrition guidelines. We talk to them about breakfast, healthy snacks, dinner, getting rid of school lunch, real simple guidelines. Okay, and then we always check up on them. Currently, I use a program called Wodify, WODIFY, with my gym, and the kids can fill out their nutrition. It's great, and then they could request a coach to check it out. So we could review it. And I could say, dude, what the hell are you doing? You skipped breakfast, you bought school lunch, then you came home and had a protein bar. For dinner, all you had is rice, so you had all day carbs and fat. And then I ream them out and tell them this is why you're not building muscle, or why you're still overweight, or why you're still kind of fat. And you have to consistently, with these youth kids, really say, hey, this is where it needs to be. And then what I do is I showcase our success stories. So I'll say, look at John Smith, and I'll send out newsletters about John Smith, before and after photos, YouTube videos. I leverage everything, guys. So I'm constantly sending these messages to my parents and the athletes, because what it does is it improves the compliance factor. Okay? Do you recommend supplements? Yes, I do. Simple things. A multivitamin, vitamin C, extra calcium at night, extra vitamin D. What else? I have a hard time, excuse me, guys. I have a hard time in the supplement industry for many reasons. Some of them are more ethical. I'm not a big supplement guy myself, but I tell these kids, some of them drive an hour each way. So I will say, if you're got to drive home, I want a protein shake ready after that workout, or have a turkey sandwich and chocolate milk ready to go after that workout, or roast beef sandwich and a banana and milk, or food ready to go. I use a couple of different supplements myself. The protein that I'll use will be 3 Fuel I use. And the other one is from a buddy of mine who's a very high-level nutritionist, used to work with the New York Jets. Sometimes we will get our kids to purchase straight from him. I do have friends that run gyms. They do a lot of boot camp type stuff. They kill it by keeping supplements in-house, because you know what they say? They go, hey man, these people are going to go to GNC and buy stuff anyway, so they might as well get it from us and get a brand that I trust. My friend Mark Bell is going to be coming out with a protein powder, so I'll probably be testing that out as well. I use it when I'm driving back and forth from Lehigh. And I also just used some, if you guys are as old as me and been around as long as me, you remember John Perillo, Perillo Performance. And I'm testing some of his stuff too. So what I'm probably going to do, my gym is not really set up in such a way to have any kind of retail. It could add a great business to your overall business. And the bottom line is, kids, they're not following through on nutrition. Neither are adults. So if you could get them something healthy, you can definitely go for it. Okay. So that's my take on that. If you are utilizing something ethically, if you believe in it, then by all means recommend it and promote it. If you don't believe in something or you're not sure about it, then I always say there is a time to just hold off and not say, yes, go get this. You might lose money that way. And then listen, there's many times, fellas and ladies, any ladies out there, no ladies out there. If you're promoting something, sometimes, I'm not even say sometimes, I'm going to say oftentimes, I do things that I could do something else and make more money doing it, but from an ethical standpoint, I don't take that road. So I want you guys to think with your heart, not just with your wallet. This is very important, okay? So that was from question to Corey. Matt Dale said, that is awesome advice, Zach. Thanks. Cool. My pleasure, guys. All right. Go ahead, guys. Post some more questions. These are great questions, and I'm proud of you guys for having questions. I always tell coaches you should always have questions. When I do seminars, um, like speaking at other places outside of my certification, I say, who's got questions? And this could be like a bunch of Division I strength coaches. They don't raise their hands. I throw them under the bus and I say, that's horrible. You should always have questions. Always. Unless you're the 10-year defending, Division I champion team, then you should have questions. So let's ask some questions, guys. Okay. Corey asked the question, what is your writing system for articles and PDF style books? I'm not sure what the question, like, meaning, like, how do I come up with my writing? Or does that mean, do I use a certain software? Is that what the question is? Can you maybe rephrase that for me, Corey? Oh, do you have a schedule? Okay, great question. Great question. I'm pretty heavy duty schedule, guys, because I'm extremely busy. This is the busiest I've ever been in my life. I said yes to a lot of things this year that I don't regret. They've really pushed me to the next level, and coaching is my passion. I'm busier than ever. I usually write first thing in the morning. My typical schedule is this: wake up at least an hour before anyone or anything in this house is moving. That means I'm awake between 5 and 6 a.m. I get downstairs, I make coffee, and I start writing. My dogs don't even want to move at that time. I begin writing. I send my newsletter out every morning. When you see them going out at 6 a.m., they are automated to go out. So sometimes I will write at night when kind of I've experienced a lot of things during the day and my wheels are turning. So I'll automate my emails to go out at that morning time. Why? Because through experience and through feedback, people always tell me that they love starting their day with my emails. So that tells me that they prefer it in the morning than an email at night. When I'm writing in the morning time, I'm always writing through my heart, through my inspiration. I've sometimes tried to lean towards being an instructional guy, but I'm not a big guy on instruction. Even though I'm a crazy stickler for the exercise technique and all the fine, beautiful details of lifting. I'm more about the passion behind training. So I stick to my gut instincts and write from the heart. When I do the videos, my best videos come when I'm in the gym training. Because when I train, my being evolves. I mean, I go dark. I get mad. I get angry. I get fired up. I get happy. All these emotions run through, and I make the best videos at those times. So I use my powerful times to do that. Now that I'm working at Lehigh as their wrestling strength conditioning coach, check this out, guys. It is, without traffic, an hour and 50 minutes. If I could do 80 miles an hour the whole way there. In the Batmobile, nonetheless. So I spend 4 hours in the car on Mondays and Wednesdays. That is crazy because I knew it was going to interfere with my online business. And I took this job with nothing to do on the money. Sometimes, guys, sometimes you really need to think this through. You will do something that has nothing to do with the money. Okay? Sometimes you have to do stuff that has nothing to do with the money. I don't get paid a lot, but my God, do I love going there. When I walk through the hallway of the Lehigh Wrestling building, I get goosebumps. I walk through a hallway of black and white photos of national champions and All-Americans dating back to, I think, the 20s or maybe the early 30s, 1920s, 1930s. And I feel like those men, the pictures of their eyes, like they're looking over me as I walk through that hallway. I get goosebumps talking about this, and I feel like they are saying to me, don't fuck this up. You need to keep the tradition going. The gym, that wrestling team has the longest wrestling program in the country. Being part of that tradition is a legacy. And right now, we are 5-1. And as I watch these young men become fucking gladiators through our training, through the underground strength system, I've got these guys outdoors pulling tires instead of sleds, carrying kegs, swinging sledgehammers, deadlifting, squatting, power cleaning, doing farmer walks, just tearing shit apart. It makes me proud to know that what we are part of, you guys, the underground strength coaches, the underground strength system, is now influencing a historical program. So my schedule is hectic, guys. My writing is done early in the morning or late at night. Okay? And yes, I organize shit. And it takes discipline to not take part in all the Facebook stuff. When you see my stuff on Facebook, I oftentimes automate 5, 6, 7 of those things to go out throughout the day. Why? Because I'm training during the morning, I'm training at night. So I can't be on Facebook while I'm training. So I'm leveraging technology. Okay? Hope this helps you out, Corey. Next question. How do you keep everything organized? This is from Matt. So funny. Like, how do you plan your typical days? Do you use software, smartphones? Or are you more of a pen and paper type guy, like a daily planner? I got rid of, I used to have a Franklin planner here. I got rid of that. Then I went with, I have index cards over there. Every day, I put 3 things on the index card. Those 3 things have to get done. What I'd like to do is this. Sunday night, I do the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday index card. Then, things that weren't done, I move them to the Thursday, Friday. But I've been doing this for so long, guys. Writing, it's just become part of my being. In fact, even before I was a strength coach and writing online, um, just writing as an undergrad student back when I was in college, my first class as a freshman was creative writing. And I learned how to write, and I learned how to write from the heart. And I didn't know it was the wrong way or the right way. I just did what I felt. So Years ago, I used to do something else. I had a small whiteboard here. I'm actually going to do something awesome with you guys. I'll give you a tour of my office soon, okay? But I had a small whiteboard. I'll show it to you. And it was in my office when it was upstairs. And I wrote Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and it said what each day was. So Monday it said like AM, Zach Evnesh blog, PM, gym. Tuesday, AM, gym marketing. Tuesday, PM, training at the gym. So I organized each day and gave it a specific task. But now things are pretty systematic with my brain, I guess. So it's always writing in the morning, marketing through the day, training in the afternoon and evening. And even when I'm training, I'm leveraging everything, right? I'm recording stuff, I'm taking photos, I'm putting myself, quote unquote, in front of people, the people that I need to influence, okay? Matt Dale says, I've got bad ADHD. You know what? Many people do, and you could harness that. There's a good book out there. I'm going to have to. My bookshelf is too crazy. And I remember getting it. I think I had it on audio. The guy was interviewed on I Love Marking. His name is Dr. Ned Holloway. And he's a doctor on ADHD and about basically, a lot of people say they have ADD, ADHD. Really, guys, we have to be disciplined. One time I was at a mastermind, and one of the younger guys who runs boot camp said he spends about 8 hours a day on Facebook. I was like, holy shit, dude. I couldn't believe it. And really what that shows me is no discipline. Okay? Go on Facebook, be strategic, engage with people, do sharing, answer questions, then leave it alone. Do things. This is going to some interesting kind of words that I'm going to put here. When I was a bartender going through grad school, I would work Saturday night. I'd get there around 7 p.m., organize, and then we'd work till 3 a.m. Then I would do my push ups with the wrestling coach, and then we'd allow some people to stay after and have a couple drinks. I'd get home at 6 a.m. Basically, did a 12-hour shift. And I worked with another guy who was a very experienced bartender. And I said, Pete, how do I know when to buy somebody drinks? This was a shot and beer joint, cash only. I mean, people would put away 12 drinks a night easily. It was crazy. He's like, dude, whatever. Somebody buys 4 drinks, 5 drinks, 6 drinks, give them one on the house. He goes, what's important, Zach, is you keep that cash register pumping. And that cash register was pumping. The owner would show up. This bar was open at 7 a.m. We were near the old GM plant, the car plant. He'd show up around 11 a.m., empty the cash register. Come back at 4 p.m., empty the register. Come back at 9, empty the register. And then he would empty the register again at night. So he kept the cash register pumping. My question to you guys is, if Facebook or the shit you're doing isn't keeping the quote-unquote cash register pumping, is it not growing your business? If it doesn't grow your business, kill it. If you don't understand how to use it, or it gives you negative vibes, fucking put an end to it. Don't do the shit that is killing you, crushing you, wasting your life. All of this, technology, this over hyper connectedness that we have, you must be very careful not to lose yourself in it. I'm pretty close to killing Facebook. We get a lot of interaction from it, but like I mentioned earlier, the biggest thing that grows my business is the referral system, some word of mouth, and those in-person clinics. Facebook doesn't really grow my business for the gym. It does send a lot of traffic to my Zach Evnesh website, though, so I'm keeping it for that. Okay? Let's take 1 or 2 more questions, and then I'll give a little tour of my crazy office and a little organizing stuff. Okay? Christian, neck training. Do you do any neck training? Hells no. My neck is skinny. when I was a wrestler, my neck was exceeding my head, which is always awesome. Do you do any neck training with weights? I read Eric Wong say something along the lines of the neck shouldn't be put under weighted pressure, and to strengthen it, you should use things like a stability ball. So I know Eric, and he trains a lot of MMA guys, and Eric does various martial arts himself. I never did neck specific work. My neck got big from wrestling, from all of the pulling on the head, the wrestling. That was basically manual resistance. I remember when I went back to doing jujitsu, my neck started getting big again. Um, Jim Wendler would always do the neck harness, but sometimes I look at boxers, some of them do it, some of them just hang their head off the boxing ring and do a lot of neck flexion, neck circles, kind of the manual resistance. Um, if Eric Wong is talking about using the stability ball, you could do bridging off of the stability ball. It's a little bit I don't know, like more, it's a little less invasive on the head when you're using the stability ball. And the stability ball could be on the ground or on the floor. So I don't have any of my guys do it because they're doing a lot of neck work from their wrestling, from their football. And then the other thing is we strengthen the support muscles, the traps and the shoulders with all of our pulling exercises, overhead, our carries, pull aparts. So that also builds up the neck and the support muscles. I remember Coach Reeve told me that in his early years they had the four-way neck machine, and he said we did a lot of neck training with the football players. He goes, we were always getting stingers where the guys like kind of whiplash their neck. He goes, as soon as I took out the four-way neck machine, we dramatically reduced neck injuries. He said he felt their necks were overtrained. Some of the old school Nautilus guys, like Dr. Ken, I mean, they built football helmets with like weight pins to do. And it was just called like a neck helmet. Some people believe in it. My belief is let the sport practice take care of the neck. And if somebody's neck is going to get big, it will get big through all the, like, look at the strongmen competitors. Their neck and back is big from all the power cleans, the carries, the farmer walks. That will build the neck. Okay? Good question. Good stuff, fellas. What else we got here, guys? Neil, for us online cert guys, would you recommend attending your level 2 cert to gain more hands-on experience? Neil, I'm going to tell you this straight up, yes. And not because, and Christian even says, hell yeah. I think you guys got a real good grasp of a lot of stuff from my cert. But when you come to my gym and I'm training you and you see the way the gym is set up, you come and watch me train my athletes. You could even show up the night before and train with them. It's a whole nother experience of learning, hands-on. Um, my my buddy Pat, who's the partner with the online cert, him and I met 10 years ago. Actually, could have been longer than that. I think it was 10 years ago in Chicago. We met at the first ever IYCA pilot certification, the International Youth Conditioning Association. It was all hands on, and just nothing can replace that hands on training. And one thing I'll tell you guys is that somebody like me, the perception is not as accurate as what you might think. People see me and say, oh, he just trains wrestlers. He doesn't train pro athletes, so maybe he's not that good of a coach. Where I live, there are no pro athletes near us. I'm not near a big city, but I would match my training against anybody. The D1 team, Lehigh, that I'm training now, they're more successful now than they've been in a long time. They're ranked 10th in the country. They haven't been that high in a long time. And I have confidence beyond my words in what I do. So yes, you should come and you would be level 2 certified. I also recommend if I hold a mastermind of any sort, you get there. They're very powerful. Okay? Let's see what we got next. On that topic, are you going to offer another cert in the 2015 year? This is super interesting. Christian, I'm assuming you're on my newsletter, the Zach Evnish newsletter. I think you are. So I've announced the new cert. I think I announced it last Friday, the quote unquote Black Friday. So Friday, Monday, I've sent out 3 emails about it. So what's interesting is I think people are missing emails. They're so over inundated with stuff. So yeah, Christian, if you're on it, I've announced it 3 times that there's a cert. So make sure you guys pay attention to my emails because sometimes I announce things and it's only open for a week. You don't want to miss them. So the certifications that I'm currently doing are one day intensives. Why? A couple things. Found that people are having a harder time committing to 2 days. Okay, it's tough. Zach's emails are the highlights of my day. They're having a hard time committing to it. I think time wise, maybe financial reasons. So I do a 1 day intensive. This one coming up is going to be a Friday certification, and then you have the option to also do the Saturday mastermind. Okay. Cool. I appreciate you guys telling me that you love getting them in the morning. So yes, I've linked inside the email. Go to the PS, and I've linked it up. Okay. I've linked it up. I also recommend that you guys learn outside of me. You know, I'm not a arrogant guy that's like, don't ever learn outside of me. I mean, I openly tell people, like, I'm constantly learning from other guys. I mean, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably a little bit luckier. With my name being built up, that I'm able to have a little bit stronger connections. But so Chad Smith comes here. I could learn from him, one of the all-time strongest men in the world. I speak at Sore Neck Summer Strong, and when I was there over the summer, I was lifting, and one of their guys, his name is Jason, but they call him Cyborg. He's a former NFL guy. He was in the NFL for a couple years, and he was teaching me better deadlift technique. So I'm always learning, and I'm never too arrogant to be like, I'm too good to learn. And I think some people, they get that. You never want to get that, guys. That's what I mean by always be the white belt. Okay, always have the white belt mentality. Christian says I'm focused on taking the NASM next year, and I want to come train with you for a week and go through the cert. January's too early. Cool. If you guys are thinking of moving into any kind of school setting, high school, prep school, college, you must get, your NSCA or NASM. Me working at Lehigh, I might be the only non-CSCS not only in the country but probably in the world. Working at Division I university, I'm going to have to get my CSCS. So learn, always learning, guys, always learning. Okay. Yeah, so Christian says I learned from Travis Stetzel, Martin Rooney, Jason Ferrugia, Eric Wong. Excellent. Great people right there. Corey Burks says probably. So yes, if you're going to work in the schools, what you guys are going to learn from me, the applicable information from me, I will say I don't think you will match it anywhere. I've also been to seminars where I was a bit disappointed in the energy level and the attention to detail by those people. When you come to my seminars, I leave and I'm fucking crushed myself. I give you everything I have. You will not see me on my phone unless I'm recording some of you guys. You will not see me yawning. You will not see me kind of like wandering off. You have my beyond undivided attention. And I have not seen that or experienced that, unfortunately, at other seminars. Does that mean it's I'm the best and others don't do it? I haven't been to every seminar, but some people have let me down, and I was disappointed in how they ran those seminars. So if you guys are coming up, I give you my word that you have it. Let's do one more question, and then I want to do a little, very short mini tour of the office and show you some books. Last question is, Zach, your stuff is way better than anything NASM. Um, would you like to stop sharing your web? Your stuff is way better than the NASM when it comes to performance. But it's okay, guys. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Now, I understand my camera is a little bit slow here. I hope this is going to work. I'm going to take you guys through a little tour of the office. Very hectic, messy. Okay? So, back in the day, I used to have that little whiteboard up there. And on that little whiteboard would always be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I had everything set. Okay? Behind me is a very big bookshelf. And there's books inside there. I've also got right here is a lot of marketing videos, CDs, DVDs. There's also stuff in here. There's a lot of old things, guys. See this? Hard Training. This is from 1997. Like old books. Stuff that we don't see anymore. Hard Gainer. This drawer is filled with it. It is filled with stuff. My desk, quite crazy. There's another bookshelf here, guys, with more stuff. It's never ending. My desk has never been that bad, and working and the driving has killed me. Here's one thing I want all of you guys to have. I think this will be great. Can you see that big whiteboard? It's actually, I don't think it's 8 feet wide. It might be 8 feet. I think it's 6 feet. There's another one there. I have 2 of them. Those whiteboards allow me to do what's called mind mapping. So when I have ideas, I like to draw them out rather than just kind of like trying to think things through my head. So somebody asked earlier if I'm a pen paper guy. I like to mind map stuff and kind of see how things would evolve. When you come to a mastermind, I mind map for each of you. So you might say, I want to build my gym. So I draw a circle, put gym in the middle. And then we kind of web it out and we say, okay, how can we build the gym? And then I might write YouTube and then SEO, search engine optimized. Then I teach you how to do that. I might look at like finding all local possible joint venture partners. So these whiteboards are extremely important to me, and I've also minimized all of the different stuff I do. So what do I do? Certification, blog, membership site, gym. And then I have the ebooks, but those ebooks feed people to the membership website. So less is more. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. More is not better. Dialing things in and making them, the way I learned this to explain it is years ago before I owned a gym, I did a seminar. And my friend Pat, my partner here, is listening to this. He knows this guy. And this guy Mike showed up to do a seminar. He was a trainer, part-time trainer at this health club. During the day, he was like an engineer. He's like, hey, my name's Mike. He's like, I see your stuff through Ryan Lee, and I'm working on an ebook called Truth About Abs. And I'm like, cool, never heard of it. And Mike invested in a course on Google AdWords. This was a while ago. And he mastered Google AdWords the way a world champion masters the Olympic lifting, the snatch, the clean and jerk. Mike started turning in this truth about abs into something that made him maybe a couple bucks a day to a couple $100 a day to maybe $1,000 a week to $1,000 a day to several thousand a day. And now his ebook, Truth About Abs, makes millions of dollars per month. The guy who showed up to a seminar that I was doing, and he was just a part time trainer, and less is more. He didn't do 50 ebooks. He did one ebook and he mastered Google AdWords. And I want you guys to really think about that story. Master what you're doing. There is power behind just running a gym. Coaches sometimes see what I do and say, I want to do what Zach does. Gym, online business, 2 gyms, website, certification, da 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 da, a million and one things. It became hard to do great at all of them. They were good, and I don't really believe any of these things are great. If I solely focused on one of them, things could be quite powerful that way. So I want you to kind of dial this in, thinking about how you could turn less into more. Then again, you look at what I do. I leverage everything I do, and there's been times where that has really helped me, like when Hurricane Sandy really wiped out my gym, my first gym. I mean, we lost more than, or not we, I lost more than half my membership. That's a lot of income. Okay, so let's see. There's last thing here. What about this is the last question, guys. What about strength versus lean muscle? Teen Nation says a muscle can't be toned. It either gets bigger or smaller and you get fatter or less fat. With that, I know your training style works. Obviously, I train the same way. Big, heavy weights, explosive and fast. Body weight, I do some distance running. I carry. But does big weight training ever limit your abilities to do things? Sometimes I'm afraid I spend too much time on my squat and deadlift and neglect my speed. I like to balance and be well-rounded, being able to move heavy shit and move it for a long time. Christian, I'm going to say this, buddy. Jim Wendler told me, he goes, you can't serve two gods. That's what he said, meaning you want to be strong and run a marathon? Can it be done? Yes, but it's tough. If you want to maximize your strength, you have to lean more towards that. Do you want to be good at a lot of things? You will not be great, but you can be pretty strong. So maybe you're going to do an upper and lower body day, and you're going to start off with explosive work, your dynamic work. Then you'll do your heavy lifting, and then you'll finish with a circuit of your supplemental lifts. Okay, you'll do, let's say you do box jumps coupled with dumbbell snatch for 5 sets of 2. Then you're going to do heavy squats and work up to a heavy single. Then you're going to do a circuit of walking lunges, kettlebell swings, and sled drags for 10 minutes. That's going to help you get explosive, strong, athletic, conditioned. Then maybe the next day you go swimming, or you go play basketball to work your stamina, or you go do trail running, or once a month you sign up for a mud run. You're doing all these things. You're going to have to move more towards that way. Will you get as strong as possible that way? No, but you could get pretty damn strong. Okay? When I did the Navy SEAL challenge, I was, always able to deadlift 500 pounds. I could always do more than 20 pull-ups. And I was able to run 5 miles. My bench wasn't, I think it was about 300 pounds. But by doing a lot of things, you tend to beat up your body. I also, I'm dealing with some injuries now, and it's from pushing kind of where you are. You want to do everything. So you have to tame your mind and sometimes focus a little more versus trying to be great at everything. Okay? Guys, I hope that you really enjoyed this, and I really want to thank you for, trusting me to become part of the Underground Strength Coach crew, getting through the certification. Pat and I are still working out some of the finer details, like when you guys finish the certification, we will be adding you to the Facebook Mastermind group. Everybody should be part of the inner circle, when you are a member of the Inner Circle, that's the undergroundstrengthcoach.com, what you guys should be doing is logging in and use the search button. There's videos, guys, some kind of old, grainy videos from 2005, stuff from when I trained guys in my backyard. There's seminars on video. There's seminars of me taking wrestlers through their workouts. Pay attention to all those things. There is not a membership site out there, maybe minus Mike Boyle's site, with this much info. Okay, and I really think it's underutilized because, like somebody mentioned earlier, you got ADD. You're in Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, then you're watching this video, that video, and then you're like, oh shit, you didn't do anything. Be strategic, be disciplined, and very important, guys, is be ethical. So in business, when you make business decisions, do it from your heart, do the thing that benefits the people, and if it in any way, shape, or form hurts somebody else, then you don't do it. Even if that means you leave $100,000 on the table. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Be ethical, and that's it. I really want to thank you guys again. It means a lot to me. So I'm going to let my buddy Pat hop on here to help me close this out. And thank you guys. Really appreciate this. Thanks to everybody. All right, guys. Have a great week, and I'll be talking to you guys soon. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Hey, Pat, if you could hop on, and we'll stop the webinar.